Great. And you also are all muted for the moment, and feel free to turn off your video if you'd like. I again want to thank you for joining tonight's session. Tonight we're going to talk about kindness and compassion for yourself. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your evening to be here. These sessions are a wonderful way to invest in your health and well-being. And I'm Cindy Maxted from Mid-Atlantic Mindfulness, and I am thrilled to be here with you all again tonight. Like Joan said, this is our third session together, and we're gonna talk a little bit about bringing kindness and compassion into our lives and how that not only affects ourselves, but it affects others in our life. And so this is one of my favorite topics, and I'm gonna share a couple stories tonight too about how teaching kindness and compassion in the schools and with people of all ages, and how important it really is. And it's one thing that we often forget to do. So again, before we start, I would like to begin by getting a little grounded, feeling centered before we start. So if we could just find yourself in a comfortable seated position, noticing your 2 feet on the floor and your arms and hands resting gently in front of you. We'll begin by taking 3 deep breaths together. Wonderful, thank you. So during this COVID-19 and this continued uncertainty and change, it's more important than ever to focus on our health and well-being. And it's really one thing that we can control, because there are so many things happening outside of our control that we really can't change. But taking care of ourselves is one thing that we can do. And having kindness and compassion for yourself is really important during this time when many of us are experiencing extreme stress and grief. And in the coming months, this will also be happening. And so a healthy relationship with ourselves can really make a difference. And again, not only a difference in your life, but in the lives of others. So tonight we'll do the same format. We're gonna have the mind portion where we're gonna do a body scan and a meditation. That's gonna include a kindness and compassion part. And then we're gonna focus on the heart. And so we're gonna talk about foods that nourish our brain. And then the body portion, again, we'll do some light, gentle, seated exercises that not only increase our energy, but also can be very calming to our body. Over the past few weeks, I've had a few questions about meditation. And so I'm going to spend a few minutes on those questions so that we can get some clarity. A lot of people have been asking about how long and how do I get started. And I'm really excited that there are so many people asking questions about meditation. There's so many things that people, when they hear meditation, they're like, oh, that's not for me. And so when you understand that it's a practice and that it takes time, and that each time is different, your body feels different, your mind feels different. And when you come to this practice with a gentle curiosity and not make stories about it, not judge it, you just see what what comes about, that makes a lot of difference in terms of understanding meditation. So when we talk about self-compassion, self-compassion allows us to support ourselves and others in a more grounded and authentic and effective way. So a recent study by the American Psychological Association said that individuals that practice self-compassion and kindness have a greater social connectedness and emotional intelligence, and really greater happiness and peace of mind. They also experience less stress, anxiety, less depression, and less shame and fear. And that's what a lot of us are experiencing right now. So this is really important to bring this kindness and compassion aspect into the practices that in the series that we're doing this month. During this time of anxiety and fear, when we acknowledge that that's happening in our own lives, and we also acknowledge that it's happening in other people's lives, then we're able to move forward. Some of us, when we're in that state of high anxiety and stress, it's hard for us to move forward. It's hard for us to get through the day. And so this practice allows us space to notice what's happening, what thoughts and emotions are coming in, and really take care of ourselves, like care for ourselves like we would a friend that's having a hard time. And it's really one thing that we don't do very often. I often tell the story of, I work in the school systems, and there's a class of 8th grade girls that I was working with all year long. And we came to a session where we were talking about being kind and compassionate to ourselves. And they were like, Miss Cindy, that's really hard. Like, I can definitely show kindness and compassion to my best friends and my family members that I love. But when it comes to sending and having kind thoughts to myself, I've never done that before. And so it really made me realize not only is it 8th grade girls that don't really think about being kind and compassionate to themselves, it's all of us. And so when we're able to have this practice and practice kindness and compassion, then we get better at it. It also allows us to reframe the stories that we tell ourselves. So often, and without this practice of meditation, without stepping back and noticing our thoughts and emotions, we don't even realize the stories we tell ourselves. I'm not good enough. That's never going to work for me. That just works for other people. Why does this always happen to me? Why is that person always picking on me? And so we're able to notice, wow, those are the thoughts that I'm telling myself. And with this practice of kindness, we're able to change that dialogue. And when we change that dialogue, it makes a tremendous impact on our day. And when we're coming from kindness and compassion, that ripples out to others. And so really, it was an amazing year with these girls. By the end, they still would say things, maybe not so kind and compassionate towards themselves, but they also knew that they had this practice to lean on and go to, and really change that dialogue that they've been having. So I always think about them when I'm in my meditation practice, and I'm noticing thoughts and emotions coming in that aren't so kind and compassionate. I always think about them. I always stop, take a couple of deep breaths, and change and reframe that story. And it makes a tremendous difference in my day. So, so today during this meditation, I'm going to just go into kindness and compassion just a little bit. I know we've been focusing, when we've been doing the meditation over the last couple of weeks, we've been focusing on our breath, and we'll continue to do that. We're also going to do just a little, take a few moments at the end of that meditation to do a kindness and compassion meditation. So I'm really looking forward to that. So before we begin our mind session, I would like to do a brief body scan like we have in the past. And so just finding yourself in a comfortable seated position, noticing your 2 feet on the floor and your arms and hands resting gently in your lap. Allow your spine to be upright, not uptight, with your shoulders relaxed. So allow your shoulders to move away from your ears. And if it's available to you, slowly begin to close your eyes. For some of us, closing our eyes doesn't feel comfortable, and that is okay. So leaving your eyes open, gazing down at a spot in front of you. So for the next few moments, you're able to keep that inward focus and not be distracted by any movement in the room. So with your 2 feet on the floor and your arms and hands resting gently in your lap, take a moment to just check in, noticing your body feeling at ease, tense. Remembering that each time we come to this practice, our body and our mind feel differently. And taking a moment to notice your mind feeling active, calm. Just noticing. So we're not judging, we're not labeling, we're just noticing our mind right here in this present moment from a place of kindness and compassion. And as we begin to scan the body, just noticing any areas that you feel discomfort, tension in your body, and allow that area to soften and let go. Beginning with the top of your head, allowing the top of your head to melt. Feeling your forehead, your eyes, allowing your eyelids to rest gently over your eyes. Feeling your cheeks, your jaw, allowing your upper lip and your lower lip to soften as you allow your entire jaw to completely relax and let go. Feeling your neck, your shoulders, your upper arms, your elbows, your lower arms, and your hands resting gently in front of you. Taking a moment to notice your hands feeling warm, cool. Any sensations in your hands, tingling. And allow your hands to completely relax and let go. Feeling your chest rise and fall with each breath. Your stomach expanding, softening. Feeling your upper back, your lower back, and your hips. Taking a moment to notice the chair beneath you, supporting you, holding you upright. As you allow your hips to completely relax and let go. Feeling your upper legs, your knees, your lower legs, and your feet. Allowing your feet to soften and relax. Imagining the floor and the chair completely supporting your body. Allowing your entire body to relax and let go. And now with your body relaxed, very slowly and gently begin wiggling your toes and your fingers. And very slowly and softly opening your eyes. And gently coming back into the room, taking a moment to check back in, noticing any changes in your body, in your mind. So before we begin the meditation part of our mind session, again, just using that simple definition of mindfulness of being present in the moment, using our five senses. So using sound, sight, smell, taste, touch, and feel. And noticing too our thoughts and emotions as they come and they go. From a place of kindness and compassion for wherever you are in this moment. And I know I've said this before, I think we have somewhere in close to 40,000 thoughts a day. And so this practice allows us to notice those thoughts and emotions as they come and they go. And when we notice them and we can take care of those thoughts and emotions from that place of kindness, then that is mindfulness. You are doing it right. And meditation is one way to cultivate mindfulness, and that's what we're going to do tonight. And like I said in previous sessions, there are many ways to cultivate mindfulness and be present. And some of us like to be in the garden or in cooking or doing artwork, playing music. Meditation is one way. And why do we do meditation? Because we know with modern day science that this practice that we're going to do tonight, if we practice 5 to 8 minutes a day over 8 weeks, makes those changes that we talked about, decreasing stress and anxiety, increasing our ability to pay attention and to focus. It also helps us with our sleep. So many times not so much when I'm falling asleep, but in the middle of the night, I'll wake up and my mind will start to wander and worry. And often that short body scan that we did is a wonderful way to calm the body and allow your body to go back into that relaxation and fall asleep. Even just noticing your breath and allowing your mind and your body to slow down. And knowing too that there's nothing that we can do at 3 a.m. about what we're worrying about. So just bringing kindness and compassion to all of it can make a tremendous impact on our sleep. And so many of us are sleep deprived and are tired. And when you come to this practice, a lot of times people will say, well, I almost fell asleep, or I did fall asleep, and that is perfectly okay. We're not judging, we're not making a story about it. We're just noticing body feeling tired. Maybe I need to take care of myself and get more sleep. This practice also gives us the ability to feel happiness and joy. And so often we don't allow ourselves to go there. And it's a wonderful thing to feel as happiness. And we know that this area of the brain, the prefrontal cortex that is responsible for our happiness and making good decisions, increases over time with this practice. So there are many benefits. And peace of mind. That's another major benefit. So when we are worrying about the future, what might happen, or we're dwelling on the past, that takes away from our happiness and our peace of mind. And it's something that we all do, and that's okay. But it's noticing how often are we in that space, and knowing that we always have our body and our breath to return to. We always have that kindness and compassion to turn to when we're feeling that way. And so remembering too that this is a practice and not a destination. And so some of us forget about, being kind and compassionate to ourselves, and that's okay. So tonight we're going to practice during our meditation, just a short compassion practice as well. The other thing people think when they think of meditation is that their mind will go blank. And unfortunately, your mind is active. And so that is impossible for your mind to go blank. But what we can do is give your mind something to focus on. And we're going to use the breath, because the breath is always with us. We can use our breath anywhere, anytime. And then just again, know that each time you come to this practice, you may feel differently. So I have some clients that they'll say, for months, I've just been feeling so relaxed after this meditation practice. And today my mind was busy the whole entire time. And that's okay. Know that it is the act of noticing your mind wandering away from your body and your breath and gently coming back. It is that action of noticing and coming back again and again. That is meditation. You are doing it right. So it's just noticing. And sometimes when I've been meditating, I'll notice my mind wandering to like a list of things I need to do. And so I'll say to myself, planning or, grocery list. And then I come back. And so I leave the grocery list and the planning for another time. And I come back again and again to my body and my breath. And that is meditation. So let's begin our brief practice together. Know that you have nowhere to go, nothing to do. I'm going to guide you. So sit back and see what happens. So again, finding yourself with your 2 feet on the floor and your arms and hands resting gently in your lap. Your spine alert and upright. Allow your shoulders to melt away from your ears. Again, if it's available to you, closing your eyes, leaving your eyes open. Checking back in. Noticing your body, your mind. So with your 2 feet on the floor and your hands resting in your lap, we'll begin tonight's session by setting an intention for this practice. An intention is one word or phrase, something that you would like to see more of in your life. This word could be patience, compassion, strength, whatever word feels right for you tonight. And on your next breath, taking a nice deep breath through the nose, repeating your intention silently, and exhaling. Again, breathing in your intention and breathing out. And one more time, taking a nice deep breath in and out. We'll start by noticing our breath. Following each inhale and each exhale. Allowing each inhale to nourish you. Each exhale, relaxing your body even more. Bringing awareness to each inhale, letting go with each exhale. gentle with your thoughts as they come and they go. Gentle with each breath. Allowing your entire body to expand on the inhale, soften on the exhale. Aware of each inhale and each exhale. And as we slowly begin to bring this practice to a close, I'd like you to just take a moment to think about someone that you care deeply about, that you love, that always makes you smile when you see them. This could be a person, an animal, and send them kind thoughts. Maybe send them, may you be healthy and safe and protected. And notice how that feels, sending kind thoughts to someone that you love and you care about. How that makes your body feel, your heart feel. Just take a moment to notice your entire body right now, thinking about someone that you love. And now taking a moment to think about someone that you don't know very well. Maybe you see them delivering your mail or in the grocery store, helping you check out, and send that person kind thoughts. May you be safe, healthy, protected. And notice how that feels, sending kind thoughts to someone that you don't really know that well, how that makes you feel. And then taking a moment to send kind thoughts to yourself. May I be healthy, safe, protected. And check in and notice how that feels, sending kind thoughts to yourself. And now bringing to mind someone that you've had difficulty with, maybe in the past. And if it's okay, sending kind thoughts to that person that's maybe hurt you or you've had difficulty with. May you be healthy, safe, protected. And notice what happens in your body, sending kind thoughts to someone who you may be having difficulty with. And now bringing to mind the intention that you set in the beginning of this practice. And on your next breath, taking a nice deep breath through the nose, repeating your intention silently, and exhaling. Again, breathing in your intention and breathing out. And one more time. Taking a nice deep breath in and out. And giving yourself appreciation for this practice, knowing that this practice not only benefits you, it benefits others in your life. And when you're ready, slowly begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers. And very slowly and softly, opening your eyes gently, coming back into the room, taking a moment to check back in with your body, your mind, noticing any changes, thoughts that are coming up around maybe that kindness meditation. So I always tell the story about a group of young men that I was working with in one of the schools, and we did this meditation. And the next week, the young man came up to me and said, Miss Cindy, I practiced your loving kindness meditation, and I thought of you when I was at home watching my baby brother. And I was like, oh, I thought like, oh, good. And then he said that his baby brother was taking his Legos and he was having a hard time with him and getting frustrated. And so he remembered what I said about taking, stopping, taking a couple of deep breaths. And he said, I brought my hand up to hit him with the Lego, and I thought about what you said about kindness and compassion, and I still hit him, but not as hard. But I had to be like happy for him, because he had awareness that he was feeling frustrated, and he really tried. So anyway, just something to think about as you find yourself in relationship with yourself and others around you, that you always have that kindness and compassion to lean on in times of difficulty and stress. And again, it's a practice. It's not easy for all of us, especially with people that we're having difficulty with. So thank you for doing that practice with me. So we will very gently go into the heart part of our session, and we'll talk about foods that nourish our brain. So last week we talked about foods that support our immune system. We've talked about healthy snacks. And so this is, when I was preparing for this session, I found it really interesting, some of the foods that not only nourish the brain, but really increase our circulation in our body. and something that we often don't think of. So a few of those food items are avocados, that they've been shown to have a healthy benefit to blood flow to our brain, as well as beans, both kidney and pinto and black beans also are very important with stabilization of our glucose levels. So that's very important for our circulation and energy. And we talked a little bit last week about my favorite, dark chocolate. Those have a lot of antioxidants in them and actually increase our mood and increase the blood flow to our brain, as well as black and green tea are very beneficial to our brain and are full of antioxidants. And yeah, colorful fruits and vegetables. We talked about eating the colors of the rainbow. So beets, berries, carrots, broccoli, sweet potatoes, tomatoes, and dark leafy greens not only nourish our body and our brain, but have been known to decrease our risk of cancer, as well as fish. So lake trout and salmon and tuna all are rich in omega-3 fatty acids and are vital for our brain function. So something to think about as we think about foods that nourish our body. Also, I know I talked before about healthy snacks and using seeds and nuts in any combination are full of, again, antioxidants and increased circulation and blood flow to our brain. And lastly, I wanted to just mention those warm spices such as cinnamon, turmeric, and ginger. Not only increase circulation in our body and blood flow to our brain, but sometimes when eating those spices, you can feel like an increase in circulation to the surfaces of your skin. So sometimes you might feel warm in your body, and know that something, when you're paying attention, is going on and feeling good inside. It's really about bringing awareness to your body when you're nourishing your body with food. So just being mindful, bringing this practice of stopping, checking in with your body, noticing, why am I eating? Is it lunchtime? Is it dinner time? Or am I really hungry? And also noticing how emotions affect your wanting to eat at that particular time, and really making sure that you're not only nourishing your body with your breath, but you can also nourish your body with foods that you eat. So bringing that kindness and compassion to your diet and what you put into your body can be very beneficial. So that is the diet and heart part of our session tonight. I'd like to end with some gentle chair exercises. And again, these exercises not only increase circulation in your body, but can be very calming and increase circulation to your connective tissue and your joints. And even when you're feeling tired, I forgot to mention, if you're feeling tired, checking in and making sure that you're hydrating your body. And so I know I say that each week, but it's really important. When we're dehydrated, that can not only make our mouth feel dry, it can cause our head to hurt, our stomach to hurt. And sometimes our head and our stomach hurt, we don't even realize that it could be because we're dehydrated. So really making sure that you're taking care of your body in that way too. So for these exercises, doing as much or as little as you would like. So checking in with your body and honoring your body if it's too much, stopping, taking this moment to just be still and notice your breath. I don't want anyone to get hurt, pull muscle. So they're just gentle exercises, but even with that, sometimes we're so used to moving our body so quickly. So just being gentle with yourself during these exercises. So taking a moment with your 2 feet on the floor and your arms resting by your side, checking back in, noticing your body, your mind, and slowly begin to do some gentle neck rolls in one direction, noticing any sounds in your neck, sensations in your neck, and then gently coming back up to stillness, and then very slowly in the opposite direction. Again, noticing any sounds, taking a nice deep breath in and out, coming to center, noticing with those gentle exercises any sensations in your neck. And when you're ready, slowly begin to rotate your shoulders in one direction. They can be small circles. If available to you, make them a little larger. Again, noticing sounds, sensations. Taking a nice deep breath in and out. Coming to stillness with your hands in front of you. And then gently in the other direction, some gentle shoulder rolls. Noticing your shoulders and your upper back, any sensations. And taking a nice deep breath in and out. Coming to stillness. Noticing. And very gently bringing your arms out to either side. And very slowly and gently moving your arms in small or large circles, whatever feels right for you. Nice breath in and out, coming to stillness. Noticing your arms feeling heavy, light, as your arms are out to either side. And then very gently in the opposite direction. Nice deep breath in and out. Coming back to stillness and doing some gentle wrist circles on both hands in one direction. And then very slowly in the opposite direction. Taking a nice deep breath here, breathing in and breathing out. And then shaking your arms and your hands out. And then placing them gently in front of you. Closing your eyes and noticing sensations in your head, neck, shoulders, arms, hands, upper back. And then opening your eyes, coming to the front of your seat, your chair, noticing your bottom on the flush with the chair and your abdomen engaged. Very slowly turning to the right. So taking your left hand on your right knee bringing your right arm to the back of the chair and feeling a slight twist. Noticing sensation in your hip, your back. Taking a nice deep breath in, lengthening, and letting go on the exhale. And one more time. Taking a nice deep breath in and out. And then very gently coming back to center. Noticing any changes in the right and the left sides with that gentle seated twist. And again, with your bottom flush to the chair and your abdomen engaged, your spine upright, take your right hand to your left knee and allow your left arm to come back behind your chair. And with your spine upright, feel a slight twist. Notice sensation in your left hip. Taking a nice deep breath, breathing in, lengthening. Breathing out, letting go. One more time. Taking a nice deep breath in and out. And then very slowly coming back to center. Taking just another moment to check back in. So we have a few minutes left in tonight's session. I know I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how to get started with meditation. So, but I also want to leave a few moments for some questions if you have any. So very quickly, and we're also going to send out a recap of tonight's session. So these will be on the handout that we give you, that we send out after this session is over. So some people have been asking, like, do I have to do a seated meditation? Can I be laying down? And that is perfectly okay. And I know I've mentioned a couple apps, one being Calm and Headspace. Those are both two free apps that you can use that will help you get started on your meditation practice. And again, in terms of time, I'm going to start with 5 to 8 minutes a day, but know that even just starting with 1 minute is perfectly okay. And if you'd like to go longer than 8 minutes, that is perfectly okay as well. And so many of us are different. We all have different schedules. So just being, just even if it's just a minute a day over a certain amount of time, you'll see those benefits we talked about. And again, all of these will be on the handout that we're going to send out. So don't feel like you have to write these all down, but I just wanted to, I know a few people have asked some specific questions about the practice. And again, one other question was, I fall asleep. And so if you are in the middle of your meditation and you feel yourself falling asleep, it's okay to sit up and open your eyes and then go back into your meditation. And one more thing. Oh, breathing. So don't get caught up in like how your breathing is supposed to be or how it's supposed to look. What's most important is that you feel comfortable with your breath. So if some people like breathing in through their nose, that's fine. If you like breathing through your mouth, that's okay too. Whatever feels most comfortable for you. All right, I want to leave some time here for some questions. So if any, or some sharing or thoughts on tonight's session.
Cindy, I like the part where you said to send kind thoughts to others. I think that brings you back to a place where if you're if you're thinking positive about others, you're going to think positive about yourself. I like that.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. And don't forget about yourself. I mean, so many of us are always taking care of others, and we forget about ourselves. So it's really important. And if we're not being kind and compassionate to ourselves, sometimes it's very difficult to be that way to others.
I just saw a question in the chat. It's someone asked, is it normal to have many emotions during meditation, such as tears?
Yeah, that's a great question. And yes, it is so normal. And so what I like to tell people is just, again, be gentle with yourselves and curious about what those tears are all about. And sometimes it's okay to have those emotions, whatever they are. So what's most important is that if those tears and emotions are taking over moments in your life, and you're feeling like you need to talk to someone, or you need support, that's when it's time to reach out and ask for help. And that's okay too. And then sometimes it's just our emotions show up, and then caring for yourself, like whatever it is that is showing up. I hope that answered the question okay. But yes, it is. So many people feel just like you do, and have mentioned that does come up. Yeah.
And one more thing that you might that really I worked on this week. You had mentioned last week about repeating to yourself, I am breathing in, I am breathing out. And I think for me this week, it really brings you back when your thoughts are running crazy. It is a very constructive way of bringing your thoughts back to the meditation. Mm-hmm. I really like that. I know we have some different people here this week with us that weren't with us last week, and I liked when you shared that last week.
I'm so glad you asked the question, Joan, because this week during my practice, I had totally forgot about not only that, repeating, I am breathing in and I am breathing out, but also using the hand as I am breathing in, I am breathing out. And so I did that in my practice this week, and it felt really good to have that connection with my body and my breath.
I shared that with someone over the weekend because I liked how you said, even if you're in a crowded group of people, or if you're at a table at an event, it was a way you have your hands in front of you under the table, and you can, go up and down on the fingers. I liked that. So I thought we would share that with the people who were here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Thanks, Joan.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions that they would like to just jump in or type into the chat? We can end the session now. I'd just like to remind everybody that we will have our fourth and final session next Wednesday. If you would like to attend that session, again, you would have to register on the St. Mary's County Library website for the fourth session. And Cindy, I can't remember off the top of my head, do you remember what we're going to be discussing during the fourth session?
Yes. So next week will be about building resilience and strength.
Okay. So we invite everybody here tonight to join us again next week. And thank you everyone for coming. And Cindy, thank you for sharing. It's always a very relaxing Wednesday evening to spend with you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you all for being here. I'm going to hang out for a couple minutes if you have some more questions, and then again, we're going to send out something with all the little how to start meditation, how to know if you're doing it right, and in addition to a recap of tonight.
Thank you, everyone. And when Cindy sends the recap out, it will come with a questionnaire about today's session. So if you can fill that out, that's always helpful to us as well. Have a good
Mhm.
evening, everyone.